Hello guys, welcome to another Shopify tutorial and welcome to my channel again. Today we're going to be continuing with our series with Shopify, and to be more specific, we're going to start building the UI of our app. If you haven't checked out my last tutorial, I suggest you go and watch it before this one because that one is more of an introductory tutorial for Shopify. So anyways, here's the Shopify documentation. We're going to, just like last time, we're going to walk through it, work together with the documentation because it's the best thing to do in my opinion. We're going to be checking out some design principles from Shopify, and yeah, so I guess we should start with the tutorial. So I'm just gonna close these, just like last time. I just have this ready for, we're going to start building the app. So going to navigate to my desktop and I'm going to just copy and paste here. This is the command to start a Shopify app. Let's check this out. Okay, so here we have to give our app a name. So I'm just going to name it. This is going to be for bulk orders. So we're going to be working with Node.js, and yeah, this has to continue building. In the meantime, let's keep checking. So as you guys can see, this is basic React components. You have a function component here. You have to import everything from Polaris. And yeah, this is basic sample. You can use React and HTML. We're also going to use HTML today in this tutorial. This is my VS Code. I wasn't supposed to open that yet. I'm going to skip the video now until this is ready. So yeah. Okay guys, so now though our app has been created, I'm just going to drag the folder right here so you guys can have a visual. I'm going to open Visual Studio Code and we're going to open the app and initialize right away because I want to start coding right now. So it's this one, I imagine, right? So let's open the folder. This is our basic structure. I'm just gonna go right to the front end. We're going to start here, right? But the first thing that we have to do, we have to open the terminal and we're going to initialize, okay? Just a quick heads up, for this tutorial, you are going to need a couple of requirements. So you need an account with Shopify partners in order to see your app. And we're going to do some configuration, so you need that, and you need a testing store as well. So this is my testing store, and this, it's fairly easy to just go ahead to the Shopify website and create the accounts and then create a store. Maybe I can do a tutorial in the future, but yeah, let's just go back to our code and we're just going to type npm. So this is basically going to initialize our app and it's going to connect my app with my store. So just create as a new app. Let me just name the app really quick. Okay, now once that's ready, you're just going to select this, always by default. It's asking you a couple of questions, and just like this is, we did this in our last tutorial. So you're gonna have this URL, you're gonna copy paste, and then you're going to install the app in your store. So let's just go to my browser. Let me just Ctrl V and just give it 1 second. It's going to ask you to install the app. You're just going to select install app. Just give it 1 second while everything connects. Another requirement I forgot to tell you, if you haven't watched this is just if you haven't watched our last tutorial, you need ngrok in order to connect. You need your app connected to a server, basically. So yeah. So okay, this is our app. This is our page. We have some basic pagination here, an app menu, and well, let's start. The first thing that we're going to do, I'm just going to refresh really quick here because I want to let me show you my app here. It's not here, it's here. Let's just pin the app. That was my other tab. Let's just close that. So we're going to pin the app and we're going to first start with an icon, okay? Before I jump into React. So here, this is my app. We're going to select, so most of basic configurations from Shopify, you do it from here. Okay, so let's just go to our app setup, and I'm going to go here. I want to rename the app because I don't like it like that. So let's be a little bit more professional since we're working in UI and UX. Okay, that's gonna be my name for my app. This is where you select an icon. You'll see how everything changes. I have one ready, but I'm not really sure. Oh, 1200. Okay, 1200 pixels by 1200 pixels. So once you upload the icon here, you can do a lot of some other configurations here, but we're not gonna do those today. This is the GDPR webhooks. This is something we're going to be checking in our next tutorial. Okay, so since it's a kind of mandatory configuration for Shopify, but well, let's just save the project. Shouldn't be too long. Let's just go back here to keep ourselves organized. This is our app now, so I'm just gonna refresh to check the changes, and yeah, as you see, we can check our icon here, and it looks nice. So let's go back to VS Code. Let's just put this here. I'm going to increase the size of my code so you guys have a better visual from here. I'm just going to Control B to get rid of that part. And this is the main app JSX. So this is where we're going to create our navigation menu, all right, for Shopify. I guess the first thing that we have to do, I'm just going to do some cleanup. This is the first page for Shopify. So the first thing I want to do, I'm just trying to clear my ideas here. Let me just delete everything. So yeah, so I'm just going to delete everything here. I'm going to do some cleanup, and I'm going to walk you through the widgets one by one once we start coding. All right, so let me just see if we have any changes. Yep, nothing appears there anymore. This is the main file for project, so I'm just gonna do the same. I'm going to get rid of everything. These are some imports. Might as well just do the same since we don't need these things here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to work on our first page in this one. So as you guys can see in our screen, we don't have anything. So let's just go back to our documentation, and I'm going to start just really quick though. Let's just go to page. This is the first one. We already went over this one. It's pretty clear. Now the next one, the next widget that we're gonna take a look is a stack. As you guys can see, used to lay out horizontal rows of components. So if you want to have a horizontal layout, as you guys see in these examples, you would use the stack. Down here, you have props. So if you want to personalize the stack, let me just show you how I do it in screen. For these, let me just do an H1 so you guys can have. So if we go back here to our store, we have our hello here, but it's in the middle of screen. So if we change this to full width, it'll start from here. Okay, that's another prop. It's a prop from page. You have all the props in the documentation, guys. So we're going to create stack. That's how we're going to be laying out our project. And here I'm going to select wrap false. And here we're going to do a stack item. Okay, that's another widget. It's a children from stacks. You start stacking your components basically inside these stacks, and they're gonna be laid out horizontally. All right, so here I'm going to create a custom component. We're gonna create a custom navbar because I don't like the one by default by Shopify, this one right here. So I'm going to do that with HTML and CSS. So you guys have an idea how we incorporate that as well in our project. So yeah, let's just go to our component folder right here, and we're going to create a new component called sidebar. So yeah, this is gonna be our custom component. I'm just gonna go back here and we are going to import it, the component custom sidebar. Okay, we're going to save the changes, and in assets I'm going to create my asset style sheet for my component. All right, so I'm trying to keep everything very organized, so I'm just gonna call it styles.css and just close this file. In the meantime, let's go back to our custom component. Let's put a semicolon here and start typing. I'm going to import the assets. This is the first thing that I want to do. It's just really quick, so we have that out of the way. Let's put a semicolon here. We're gonna need a couple of imports. We're gonna use navigate because this is gonna be our navigation bar. So just use navigate. Let's see if I can import that. I think it's from AppBridge. Yeah, it's this one. Is this import right here? Use navigate. I'll show you in a second how you can implement navigation in your Shopify app. So now we're gonna use some components from Shopify as well. We're gonna use link and we're gonna use icon, okay? Because we're gonna style it with some Shopify built-in icons. So this is gonna come from Shopify Polaris. I think it's this import right here. So let's just save right now. Let me Control B so you guys have more space, more visuals and space for the screen. And this is icons. This is a Shopify icons that we have available to use. Just as material UI, you select it, you have the imports, the names, and yeah, pretty much everything. So let me just go back here and we're going to start building our sidebar. I'm just gonna do backticks here. Here we're gonna create another div. This is gonna be the top part of our sidebar, and here we're gonna use our icon. All right, so let me just show you. So we have icon on screen. You have to type source, there's a prop, and then you have to name the icon. Okay, first up you have to import the icon, so we're gonna say import, and we're going to, this is called, I think it's home major. Okay, so this is our import. Let me just clear everything. Let's save, and we have to put the name here, and we're going to select the color, and that's another prop, and we're gonna use a subdue. That's the color I like for Shopify icons. So now we close the div and we save. I think we have to import our custom sidebar so we can see changes in screen, but pretty much everything's here. Everything related to icons, and if you go to components you can see the icon component down here, and you can see props, styling, and everything. Okay, so now let's go to our main page, and we're going to, okay, we already import that. Let's just select this here. So now let's go back to our test store, and you can see our icon in screen, which is pretty neat. So yeah, let's keep continuing and working on our sidebar. This is the first part. It's gonna be a long tutorial, guys, I guess. Let's see how long it takes me to build this. But yeah, it's okay. We all learning here, correct? So let me just close our div here. And now we're going to start our sidebar. Let me create another div. I'm gonna put a class, and this class is gonna be the content. So now we're gonna create a UL here, since we're gonna have a list of items. And let's name this one here. We're gonna have our first list, and we have to name it list item. Put this here. I'm gonna put a class name, and let's check. Side here, we're gonna create another Shopify icon. We're gonna source, and here I'm just gonna type enter so we have more space for these icons. And I'm gonna import a list of icons. I'm just gonna skip the tutorial until I'm ready here. Okay, so we're gonna use all these icons here, and here I'm going to just select marketing. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, it's marketing major, and we're going to close it. I have to select the color. It's all of our colors are gonna be subdue. Okay, and just close the icon. Inside we're gonna create a span, and let's just put a class name here so you guys can have everything visually in screen. And this is going to be our product SEO. Okay, so now let's just grab the list item, and we're going to copy and paste with Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V, and we're going to do it a couple of times. Let me check how many I need. Let's just check, go back to our Shopify and check everything on screen. As you see, everything's loading perfectly. So now let's just go back, and in our CSS folder, I'm going to do a couple of styles. I'm just going to start with a couple of basic styles, and I'm just gonna copy and paste everything. So you guys don't have to watch me do the CSS. And yeah, so this is our style. So I'm just going to copy and paste some styles from CSS, and I'll see you then. All right. Okay, so this is the styles for CSS. It's just some basic CSS. I have here my sidebar. I'm applying a mid height of 100 pH. There's no hover. This is then this gives it this nice effect. This is it's pretty good looking. So now we're going to change our icons, okay? And I'm also gonna do that off screen. I'm just going to copy and paste everything. So yeah, so we don't waste any time with HTML and CSS, but yes, that's basically how you do it and how you combine Shopify Polaris components with just basic HTML. Just wanted to show you that. Pretty much you can do everything that you do with React. So yeah, but before we do that, actually I just want to show you the navigation, so you have a pretty good idea of how do we do some basic navigation. So as you saw earlier, I imported use navigate from ActBridge. I'll show you the documentation right now. So I'm just going to create a constant navigate. This is pretty similar to React Router if you ever done that before, and we're gonna use the use navigate function here, and I'm just going to do some space here so you guys have an idea. Let me make this a little bigger. Let me just Ctrl+B so you guys have plenty of the screen for you to visualize. And inside the icon, I guess in between the span and the icon, we're going to select our link. This is also another Shopify component that we use to do navigation in Shopify. So I'm just going to wrap these here, and then we're going to Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V here. Let me just delete this bar right here, and inside the link I'm gonna do a couple of props, because if you just save it like that, you'll have this like this. As you see, it's highlight. So let me just end this function. We're going to use so here pretty much we're gonna use our navigation. Okay, so this is where you select the link, pretty much the link for where you're going to navigate with. So if I go back here, if let's say I want to just navigate to my first screen, let me just copy and paste this link so you guys see it. Before that, I'm just gonna do an H1 here so you guys can see. Hello world. Let me just save this here and check if the navigation is working, and as you see, we navigate through our next screen. It's, you know, very simple, very basic React stuff. So let's just go back to our code, and I'm just going to change, I think I have to change the icons for every list HTML. So we're done with our navbar. Okay guys, so now that we are done with our navbar, let me just show you in the screen how everything's looking pretty good. This is gonna be our navigation, and once we click here, we can navigate to our first screen. So now I wanna show you how can we create 2 more screens in our app. I think we're gonna have a settings, and also, yeah, let's just figure that out together. I'm just gonna go back to Visual Studio Code. Let me just make this, I'll make that bigger in a second. Let's just close all these files here so you guys, everything is not that crazy. Let me just make this a little bigger here, and we're going to go to our app one more time. here, and this is how we create the navigation for Shopify API. Let me just make this a little bit bigger because I think it's going to be better for you. This is in the routes.jsx is the basic function, and just to keep it short, basically this is a map that will map through your folders page, and every time that you add a page, that will be the route for your new page. Okay. You can just inspect that later here when you're working on your own. I'm just gonna close these. I'm gonna close these files because we're done, and we're gonna go. I think I closed by accident. Sorry about that. So we're gonna create some more pages and add them to the navigation. So the first one is going to be called plans and pricing. We're going to create really quick the component here, and don't forget this has to be with capitals. So now we're gonna create another page, and here I'm just going to camel case everything. Now we're going to go back to our app.js, and we're going to just, guys, just copy and paste here. Let me just scroll down, and here now we are going to name our pages. The first one is going to be plans and pricing. Let me just save the changes and check if everything is working in Shopify, but that's pretty much how you add navigation to your Shopify. If you don't want to do the nav menu, I did. So now we're back to our Shopify store. This is our nav menu, our custom nav menu. And as you see, we can navigate, but now we have our other screens here. This one here and this one here. As you see, everything's coming up together. This is our app. It's looking very good. If you're enjoying this tutorial, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That helps a lot to grow the channel and motivation to keep working on YouTube videos. Anyways, I'm just gonna go back. I guess we're done with these screens. We're not gonna really focus here, and yeah, we can close everything. Let me just Control B, and now we're going to create another. This is our custom sidebar here, and we're going to create another stack item. So inside here we are going to use our layout. If we go back to the documentation, let me just scroll down. Let's see if I find it really quick. As you see, it's a component used to create layouts on the screen. So we have basic examples here. You can create one column, just basic layouts. Everything's here. You have props. So yeah, we are gonna go back, select a prop for the stack item. I want everything to fill. So basically, after I want everything to occupy the space remaining here. So I want everything to expand. That's more clear for me than fill. Now inside our layout, let's just create a layout section. Let me create another one here. And inside here, I'm going to create an H1. Just make sure, yeah, it's working. So that's gonna be our first section for layout. And inside this new section, we're going to create we're gonna use another Shopify component, basically. I think out of port, we're gonna use cart. So again, let's go back to the documentation and take a peek of the cart. So as you see, it's to group similar concepts or other components together. You have a couple of examples here. It works basically like the other components. Now inside our car, we're gonna have another layout, of course, because we need to stack everything. So I hope you are seeing how everything works here. So here inside, again, just like we did in our parent div, we're gonna use a stack one more time. And I guess I'm gonna clean the code in our next tutorial, but we can, just create another component here and then import. So everything is not that crazy. And I want some space from the top, so that one is just gonna be empty. Here I'm going to create an H2. So yes, let's just check our store if everything is working. And you see, as you guys can see, we have a little pop-up here. We have a new car in our H2. So yeah, everything's looking nice. Let's continue. Before that, I saw that everything was, let's just put a break here. I guess we're done with this stack. So that was our horizontal stack for our car. Now we can create another section. Here we're gonna use the same approach. We're gonna create a stack, create another stack. And inside here, we're going to use a select here. And as you guys can see, is this right here. So let's create an object. So we have some and put some state. So we have some options to select from. I'm going to import a couple of things from React. I'm going to import use state. So now we're going to just do some destructuring here. Let's type selected. And here I'm going to create an object, which is going to be called options. And here I'm going to have to create one more function. Now we can go back to our select and we're going to inject these properties. If I can find the select, it's this one right here. So let's just put our options on change. Here is gonna be our function. And the value is gonna be our state, right? So select it. Let's just save the changes and see, go back to our app. Okay guys, so now that we have our select ready, we are going to continue. I think I have to do another select for style. I'm going to scroll up again and I'm going to do the same for these states. So now we're gonna scroll down one more time and I'm going to apply those changes. So this is gonna be our second state and this one is called conditions. And yeah, this is our other selected drop down. So I hope you now are, just have a basic understanding of the select component. I'm gonna add a third one, actually 1.3, but in this one we're just not gonna put anything. It's gonna be an empty select. Let me just scroll down here, and yes, now we are going to finish our stack. Now I want to create another section. This is gonna be our button section. So let's just type layout the section. This is called button group. So let me just check really quick if it was imported. Yeah, it's button and button group. So let me just group. Before that, I'll show you the documentation really quick for button and button group. They basically really intuitive. You can just check that out here. So it's a group of buttons, an array of buttons. So inside our button, I'm gonna do some space. I'm gonna create a button and we're going to name it preview. Let me just save the changes and check. Our store is right here, and as you guys can see, this is our button. It's looking pretty good. Now let's copy and paste and create another one, but with a different color. And this is gonna have a primary color. So if you can guess, primary color for Shopify, it's green. So now let me just change the title here. So let's put add product filter. And I hope you guys are having a fair understanding of how our app is going to be and what's going to be the main functionality of our app. So yeah, this was our button group component. I want to put a layout section. I think it's here. I hope I'm not wrong. So just empty, just so everything gets pushed. Yeah, so we have a little bit more space here. So now we can start working, and like I told you before, this can be separated in another component. Here I'm just gonna have an HR because I want a line. I want like a line here in between sections. So yeah, but this is the app. It's pretty good. It's not looking bad. We have our options. You guys can have an idea that we are creating bulk coder options. So we're going to do editings all at once. So yeah, let's keep working on our code. Let me just scroll down here. Let me create another layout section, and here we're gonna have an H1, and this is gonna be step 2 for our app. So when we create the functionality, sorry about that. Step 2, when we create the functionality of the app, all of these is going to be wrapped in a form. So what I mean by that, it's if you go back to the documentation, so we can submit all those changes. You'll see once I'm ready with the layout, but I think it's this one form, a form and a form layout. So all the values that we insert, we can call them in a function that then call our backend API with Node.js. So yeah, that's basically the main core of the project. So let's keep working on our layout here. Preview, but as you see, it's not that hard. It's just all components. Shopify made this very easy for us. I think I'm gonna use a capital for everything, and all the code for this app is going to be in my GitHub repository. If you want to check it out, if you want to just do it at your pace, or if you want to do it with the tutorial, it's fine. But yeah, just an FYI there, guys. Inside here, we're going to have a car, and I just want to save the changes. I want to take a look again to how everything's coming up together. Everything's good. And yes, so now here we have another car. I'm just gonna do it really quick. I'm gonna skip the video really quick because we're basically gonna use the same components that we use. So let me just do it. Okay, guys, so now as you see, we have a car, we have a layout inside this car, we have a section with a stack. So everything is gonna have we're gonna have rows and columns, and we have a distribution which is filled evenly. So this means if you go back here, everything here is gonna be space between, basically, for CSS. So yeah, and a couple of stack items. So now let's scroll down and create our other car and layout section. So below here, we're gonna have an HR again. So below the HR, we're gonna have another title, and let's just check everything's here. Oops, I think I put my section inside our other section. So let's just go back. So let me just copy those, and yeah, I guess that's it. So we're gonna have our other section here. Okay, so below our H1 and our title, let's go and create another section, just basically what we've been doing this last hour. So I'm just gonna copy and paste it and walk you really quick through it. This is a section. We have a car, a layout, we have stack items, as you guys can see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We save, and as you see here, we have our drop downs. I just didn't put any props here, but we only have this different distribution, which is fill. So they're gonna take an evenly space in the car. So now let's just scroll down and create our other section. Let me put an HR here. Now let me put our other section down below this HR. Okay, so here we're gonna paste our other HR. Let's just Control B, and as you guys can see, I just made this further. Let me just increase the size of my screen so I can walk you through it. It's one more time another layout section. We're using car widgets layouts. We're using stacks. I think we're gonna use another drop down here. I'm using buttons as well. I'm using a primary color for our button. Let me just save the changes, and we're gonna go back, and I think that was pretty much it for the code. Let me just expand this a little here so we have more space. That was all the code for our app, but again, this is just for introduction purposes. We'll clean the code of our application in our next tutorial. In the meantime, let's just go back here, and yeah, that was the beginning of the layout of our app. It's not looking bad, it's pretty good. We have pretty much this part, have 3 steps. This is where we are going to introduce GraphQL functions, so we can select and do queries and do mutations. But yeah, as you see, we have our sidebar here, we have our components, we have a layout in a page component, we have stacks, we have buttons. Anyways, we have a selects, This one is working, and yeah, so that was pretty much the application. We also apply changes, everything from our Shopify partners, like changing the icon of the app and name of the app as well. We introduced Shopify built-in navigation, and also we also did our custom navigation, as you see. So yeah, that was pretty much the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching again, guys. Hope I have my next tutorial ready soon. And yeah, thank you so much for watching again, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you find value in this tutorial, and have a great Sunday. Bye.